This presentation analyzes the responses of Tama residents who took part in the community visioning assessment process. The information in the following slides is intended to inform the Tama Visioning Committee and design team during the design process. We conducted virtual community focus groups, sent a random sample survey to 260 Tama households, and interviewed Hispanic residents. The quantitative data collected from survey responses complement the qualitative information gathered from the focus groups and the interview. Different transportation users have different needs and priorities. Older adults want access to local services. Active recreationists want to be challenged while engaging in physical activity. Parents are concerned for the safety of their children. People with mobility issues need smooth surfaces and safe traffic crossings. Youth want complete sidewalks and safe crossings. We conducted focus groups with people from each of these different demographics to obtain a complete picture of the transportation system in Tama. Most user types travel around Tama by driving. Parents, youth, and actives walk throughout town and along the Cherry Lake paths. Parents and youth bike around the middle school blacktop. Mobility challenged individuals and youth also use golf carts around the community. Focus group participants were asked what they consider community assets, and they identified places connected with outdoor recreation. Oak Hill Park is popular for its shelter, picnic tables, playground equipment, sports fields, and natural beauty. The South Tama Rec Trail features a nice tree canopy and benches and provides a safe place to exercise. Cherry Lake provides a safe place to walk in a park-like setting. Having safe, convenient places to walk, bike, and play, such as Cherry Lake, Woodlawn Cemetery, the middle school, and even St. Pat's Church, is important to a variety of Tama residents. During the focus groups, participants also identified undesirable features in town, such as incomplete and poor sidewalks, unsafe crossings, poor visibility, winter weather conditions, and trail conditions. Highway 63 is a significant barrier in Tama, especially near the high school. Residents frequently mention the absence of connection with crosswalks and sidewalks along Highway 63 and are concerned about kids having to walk along the highway. Finally, focus group participants had the opportunity to tell us what changes they want in Tama. Nearly every group desires more pedestrian crossings and sidewalk expansion to improve connectivity among local destinations. The youth and mobility challenged would like better sidewalk connections along major roads and highways. The active recreationists, parents, and youth think that the trail conditions at Cherry Lake could be improved. All user types want continuous and smooth sidewalks throughout town, specifically in front of the high school and along Highway 63. The parents and active adults would also like a hard surface trail. "67 Tama residents completed the random sample survey. Understanding what types of improvements are important to residents gives the Visioning Committee insight into how to prioritize projects. The information summarized here includes respondents' willingness to help, their enhancement priorities, their preferred commuting, walking, and biking routes, and qualities and features that are important during these activities. More than 42% of survey respondents answered that they are willing to help with the visioning process, whether this be volunteering time, money, or both. How do we get people to help? According to an ISU study of Iowa small towns in 2014, the most common reason residents said they didn't become involved in community projects is that no one asked them. Others indicated that they didn't know how to become involved. These results show that the best ways to get people involved in community projects is to simply ask them, along with advertising opportunities through traditional and social media outlets. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, participants in Tama ranked quality of the built environment as most important. Transportation enhancements that address pedestrian mobility, health, and safety are also considered important, such as creating safer routes to school, improving night use, and providing better pedestrian connections and creating more opportunities for physical activity. Other transportation enhancements that impact the quality of the built environment, such as enhanced seasonal beauty and habitat for birds and pollinators, are also somewhat significant. Most survey respondents drive to important destinations such as the convenience store, the post office, school, and church. More than 22% carpool or ride with someone else. 9% indicated that they walk, and more than 4% bike to their destinations. This map shows the commuting routes identified by 22 survey respondents. The frequency that the routes are used is depicted by their width, with most frequently used routes being the thickest. The primary commuting corridor in Tama is Highway 63 from 13th Street north to US 30. Some people travel on US 30 business, and some take the Lincoln Highway Historic Byway. East-west travel takes place mainly on 13th, 9th, and 5th Streets. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants ranked the characteristics and features that factored into their choice of commuting route. Among Tama participants, time to destination is the most important factor. Other reasons include visibility, road conditions, and avoiding trains. This map shows the walking routes identified by 34 survey respondents. The frequency that the routes are used is depicted by their width, with most frequently used routes being thickest. The Cherry Lake Trail and the South Tama Recreation Trail, especially between the country club and the lake, are the most popular walking venues among survey participants. Streets near Cherry Lake and the Rec Trail, such as Siegel Street, are more heavily used than other city streets. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants ranked the characteristics and features that made their walking experience better. These features are categorized as either connections or conditions and elements. The most significant influencer on people's walking patterns is access to trails. Other factors, including low traffic, proximity to shopping or parks, and safety, are most important. This map shows the biking routes identified by 13 survey respondents. The frequency that the routes are used is depicted by their width, with most frequently used routes being thickest. Like walkers, cyclists most frequently use the South Tama Rec Trail and the trail at Cherry Lake. People also bike on the Iowa Valley Scenic Byway and west out of town on the Lincoln Highway Heritage Byway. Broadway and State Streets are the primary north-south routes in town, and 13th Street, 9th Street, and 5th Street are the most frequently used east-west routes. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants ranked the characteristics and features that made their biking experience better. These features are categorized as either connections or conditions and elements. Among Tama participants, access to trails is most important. In terms of conditions and elements, seasonal beauty is the most important element to them. This map shows the out-of-town biking routes identified by 13 survey respondents. The most popular out-of-town biking route is west on the Lincoln Highway Heritage Byway into and beyond the Sac and Fox Meskwaki settlement. Some cyclists make a loop around the settlement. People also like to bike to the many natural areas in the region, including the West Salt Creek Wildlife Area in Vining, the Otter Creek Marsh State Wildlife Refuge, and the Isaac Walton Tract Recreation Area. On a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the most important, survey participants also ranked the characteristics and features that made their out-of-town biking experience better. In terms of connections, access to the route from one's neighborhood, access to the countryside, and access to natural areas are considered equally important. In terms of conditions and elements, other factors, namely safety from vehicles, are most important. In Tama and Toledo, 34.6% and 14.2% respectively of the populations are Hispanic. The Tama and Toledo Visioning Committees recognized the importance of engaging with this substantial group of residents. To capture the transportation behaviors, needs, and desires of this demographic group, the ISU research team conducted an interview with two members of the Hispanic community, one from Tama and the other from Toledo. Members of the Hispanic community walk and bike for recreation. Safety is the primary factor affecting their choice of walking and biking routes. Hispanic residents like Toledo Heights Park because there is no traffic, the drive is paved, and the park layout allows parents to keep an eye on their kids. Interviewees also identified Cherry Lake and the South Tama Rec Trail as both safe and scenic places to go. Tama and Toledo focus group participants and survey respondents also value these recreation venues for similar reasons. The absence of sidewalks and designated pedestrian crossings throughout Tama and Toledo is the most significant barrier to Hispanic residents in the two communities. Specifically, interviewees cited the Highway 63 corridor, from which people access Fairway and Dollar General in Toledo and the elementary and high schools in Tama, as particularly hazardous for pedestrians. One interviewee shared that they had seen parents pushing a stroller through the grass, trying to manage kids and carrying groceries along Highway 63. Interviewees also talked about frequent car accidents at the entrance to the high school. Focus group participants in both Tama and Toledo share this view, particularly parents and older adults. Hispanic residents would benefit most from additional sidewalks and controlled pedestrian crossings, according to interviewees. Specifically, they would like sidewalks along the Highway 63 corridor to provide better pedestrian access to the Toledo Business District and the elementary and high schools in Tama. These suggestions are consistent with the priorities expressed by focus group participants and survey respondents. Interviewees said that a bus or taxi service would be beneficial to Hispanic residents, many of whom do not drive. Finally, Hispanic residents would like the South Tama Rec Trail to be paved, a view expressed by participants in the Toledo Parents and Actives focus groups. If you have any questions about this presentation of the community visioning process, contact the members of your local visioning committee or check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. A complete set of assessment presentation boards can be found on the Tama Visioning webpage at www.communityvisioning.org/Tama.